Are you used to constantly putting things off until tomorrow? You never finish what you start? So there is no doubt you are a procrastinator. Don't worry, it's not a disease or a dirty word. It is, however, a habit that you must learn to change. Fear of the unknown, poor organization, or the gaze of others are all reasons that can lead you not to act immediately. In the moment, putting a task aside will relieve you. However, the longer you keep putting things off, the more easily you'll find good excuses not to get started. This vicious circle can last indefinitely. In the long term, procrastination will not be your ally. You risk falling into a very frustrating situation of stagnation. Conversely, by taking action, you will achieve things to be proud of and you will develop greater self-confidence. To move forward in your projects, you must therefore change your behavior. Are you ready for change? Follow these 10 steps that will help you stop procrastinating. Number 1, list all the tasks to be done. To avoid procrastinating, the first thing to do is list all the tasks you have to do. You will see more clearly and be sure not to forget anything. In addition, it will relieve you of a good dose of stress in times of high activity. In practice, it's best to write your to-do list on a piece of paper or on your computer. Absolutely avoid saying it into your phone. You risk being tempted by unproductive actions. On your list, write down everything you need to do in the short term, within the week, and long term, within the month or year. In addition, classify your different tasks according to the Eisenhower matrix. That is to say, according to their importance and their urgency. To do this, you must respect the following order: important and urgent tasks, important but not urgent tasks, urgent but not important tasks, tasks not urgent and not important. If possible, you can try to delegate tasks that are urgent but not important. On the other hand, consider getting rid of tasks that are neither urgent nor important. Number 2, divide complex tasks into subtasks. The difficulty of a task is undoubtedly one of the main causes of procrastination. Indeed, it is never easy to tackle something that you do not control. It takes a lot of effort and often we don't know where to start. So when things seem too tough, we can quickly find ourselves overwhelmed. As a result, our motivation tends to decrease. Faced with this problem, it sometimes seems better to postpone or abandon things halfway. Obviously, this is not the right behavior to adopt. To deal with the complex task without procrastinating, the solution is therefore to divide it into subtasks. Indeed, the simpler a task is to perform, the easier it is to take care of. For example, let's imagine that you have a professional or academic report to submit. In this case, do not write my report in your list. Instead, break down your task like this. Write the outline of my report. Write the introduction to my report. Writing part 1 of my report. Write part 2 of my report. Write the conclusion of my report. Lay out my report. Reread my report. Hand in my finished report. By doing so, you may move more slowly than others, but at least you will move forward. And that is the most important thing. Plus, every time you cross off a subtask from your list, you'll see how much progress you're making. So you will feel satisfaction. The positive energy will give you even more motivation to tackle the next task. Number 3, set deadlines to stop procrastinating. To stop procrastinating, it is essential to commit to meeting a deadline for each task. Indeed, if you do not set deadlines, you will have a hard time identifying your priorities. As a result, you risk getting overwhelmed and never taking action. Let us return to the example of the professional or academic report. Imagine that you are asked on June 1st to submit your report for the end of the month. In this case, to make sure you finish your work on time, you will rewrite the completion time next to each subtask. By doing so, you will even have a few days left to manage the unexpected. You therefore save yourself a good dose of stress by respecting the dates you have set. However, objectively estimate the time needed and only commit to deadlines that you can meet. It is better to allow more time than not enough. Number 4, focus on one task at a time. Most procrastinators have a bad habit of multitasking. As a result, they quickly lose their concentration and are overwhelmed by the passage of time. In the end, they postpone until tomorrow what they could have finished today. Suffice to say that this behavior is totally counterproductive. Indeed, concentration is a complex ability to master. It is difficult to stay focused on a subject for long. Multitasking is the best way to never finish what you started. It is better to work 30 minutes focused on one task than to spend several hours on 2 subjects at the same time. You will be much more productive and will not have to put off until tomorrow what you have not finished. Number 5, plan the elements necessary to carry out a task. When starting a business, getting started is often the most difficult step. We have seen that it is important to detail a task precisely in order to be able to start quickly. In the same way, to put yourself in optimal working conditions, it is essential to provide all the elements necessary to carry out a task. By doing this, you will save valuable time and avoid procrastinating. For example, let's say you decide to go swimming on a Saturday morning. Unfortunately, just before leaving, you are unable to find your swimsuit. Out of spite, you most likely risk procrastinating by postponing or canceling your project. To avoid this situation, you should therefore prepare your bag on Friday evening. Thus, everything will be in place to start your business in good conditions. On Saturday morning, you won't have to worry. All you have to do is take action. Number 6, remove all sources of distraction around you. A healthy work environment is essential to keep your concentration. Indeed, it is very easy to be disturbed by what surrounds us. We are extremely solicited by notifications of all kinds. Giving in to the temptation to look then becomes difficult. Before starting a task, therefore, remove all sources of distraction, such as your telephone, your mailbox, your television, or even the internet. You will avoid wasting precious seconds by stopping every minute to take a call, answer an email, watch a video, or chat on social networks. In the same way, isolate yourself if possible in a quiet place so as not to be disturbed by others. Feel free to close your office door or put on some music to stay focused. In any case, do not get involved in a discussion with a colleague and do not listen to the noises of the corridors. You will have plenty of time to pause to do this. Number 7, set break times to clear your mind. Working nonstop is often a bad thing. Indeed, our brain cannot last indefinitely. It needs to regenerate from time to time. After a while, our productivity inevitably drops and we want to do something else. Thus, breaks are essential to us. However, they must be managed intelligently. In order to work without procrastinating, it is therefore necessary to plan your break times as well. The Pomodoro method is a great way to do this. It is organized as follows. Work 25 minutes on a single task. Take a 5-minute break. Repeat the first 2 steps 4 times. Take a break of 15 to 30 minutes after 4 complete cycles. Start again at the first step. Ideally, you should use break times to do an activity unrelated to the current task. For example, you can go for a walk, play sports, read a book, or chat with other people. See these moments of relaxation as a reward for your work or a source of motivation. Number 8, stop striving for perfection. If we lack vigilance, the search for perfection can quickly become an obstacle to our advancement. Be careful. This does not mean that you have to rush your work. You just have to make the difference between aiming for excellence and seeking perfection. Aiming for excellence means wanting to be very good in your field. To seek perfection is to accept no flaws, no mistakes. However, it is possible to achieve excellent things without being a perfectionist. You just have to know how to recognize when your work is of quality. Number 9, avoid comparing yourself to others. Ideally, comparison to others should simply allow us to assess our level. However, due to a lack of confidence, many people see it as a way to reassure themselves. This behavior can be self-destructive. Indeed, by comparing yourself with those who have been the most successful, it becomes very easy to develop an inferiority complex. Thus, instead of reassuring ourselves, we will simply devalue ourselves. Unconsciously, it is as if we wanted to confirm to ourselves that we are incapable of being good. Therefore, even if this is false, the fear of looking bad will prevent us from acting and will cause us to procrastinate. Number 10, do not hesitate to ask for advice. When faced with a problem, we can think for hours without ever managing to find a solution. However, if you can't complete a task, don't be ashamed to admit you don't know. No human being has all the knowledge. We all have subjects that we master more than others. In this case, instead of blocking indefinitely and procrastinating, seek advice from people who have more experience. Often, people are flattered that their skills are solicited. They see this as a recognition of their expertise. Stopping procrastination is a long-term job. These 10 tips are not here to sell you dreams, but simply to help you. There is no magic recipe. We do not get rid in a few minutes of bad habits that we have developed over time. However, with a good dose of willpower, there is no doubt that you will succeed. Just follow your rhythm. Finally, here's one last bonus tip. To move in the right direction, trust yourself and always be honest with yourself.